Thank you.
Yeah.
What is the process of bringing one of your ideas to a larger company, say a Tom's or something like that, that you have some idea, you have some brilliant idea about something to add to a shoe, and then you go ahead to one of these larger companies? How do you get in the door? What's that process like?
The way to do it is to, email, call them up, see if they're interested in the types of thread. I had contacted Tom's at one point. I had also, at one point, in the last 2 years, I was a representative for a major metallics company, and I would visit like Coach and Polo and other people like that, and they were aware of the metallics used, because a lot of these people do use metallics. Like Tom's does use metallics in the fabric to make the shoes. But for instance, blue jean companies could use heavier gauge metallics to do the pockets and things like that, or the seams. The very fine material that I have can be used by weavers to weave in weaving fabric. So it's just a matter of getting out there and getting people to say, oh yeah, that is interesting, I think I'll try that. Well, it's like going to chain stores. Like we're in Joann's Fabrics. Okay, in Joann's Fabrics, they're not the easiest people to work with. You go up there and you explain your new products to them, and they say, no, that's not what we want. We went to Hobby Lobby, and Hobby Lobby said, oh, no, we don't want it. And then 3 months later, there's my product on the shelves in Galveston, Texas, and my employee called me up and said, when did we start making stuff in Turkey? Well, Hobby Lobby is well known for copying other products. A lot of the chain stores, when they were sold to investment companies, started dropping American products and going for Chinese products. So it's a real tough market. And the way the market has changed now, millennials don't go shopping the way regular, way we shop. I asked my daughter, where do you like to shop best? Oh, Amazon. So a lot of people in our industry, they want the internet to go away. I said, good luck. And so we decided to work with different people who have Amazon platforms. So with an Amazon platform, they're not Amazon. I don't really want to work with Amazon. But they bring in products, so they're making money by bringing my product in a different way, in a different fashion, maybe like selling in bulk. And by selling in bulk, they can get around a lot of the barriers that Amazon puts in front of everybody. And but we have to be on the internet. We have to be out there. We've been on the internet since the early 1990s. My background's in computers and retailing, and we saw that we needed to be out there right away. So as soon as we could, we were there. And in my industry, we're far ahead of a lot of the people in my industry, just because that's the way we are. But we see things. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on Tumblr, we're on Pinterest, we're on everything. We actually go out and monitor 400 blog sites a week just to see where our name is mentioned. Then we take that mention and we put it into a tweet or we put it onto our Facebook site. So the marketing is totally different. And a lot of young people who have stores don't go to the large trade shows that we used to go to. And so I went to one trade show that was 7 exhibit halls big, and that's huge. And now it's down to like 1.5. And so young people don't go to these places. They go to online. So it's a whole new area, a whole new market.
You mentioned others in your industry. Could you briefly describe your competition and who you find yourself competing against?
I'm competing with big companies like DMC, which is a huge company out of France. They have They do like 900 million a year. We're really small, but we make waves. It's the small guys out there who come up with the ideas, and the big guys who copy us. There's Coates. They're big, and then I have one guy out in California, and he saw that I was in Joann's Fabric, so then he started telling all his customers, well, we don't sell to Joann. He didn't sell at Joann's Fabric, and they shouldn't buy from me because I have my product out there and I'm competing with them. Well, I have, I think, 12 items in Joann's Fabric out of 6,000. And, you know, it's up to the customer to determine whether my stuff is better than his stuff. So, you know, some people are nasty.
Yeah, Doug, I think that one thing you touched on was about getting feedback from millennials, and so you've made a few comments about like what we think that millennials want, and so I'm kind of curious to give it a little poll. Yeah. So if you can raise your hand if anything you buy you wish was customizable. Okay. So then not everyone raised their hand, so it doesn't necessarily all have to be customizable. Raise your hand if you don't like rules, you hate rules. Raise them higher. Yeah, Charlie, raise it higher. Okay. All right, so not everybody raised their hand. So what is it if Krynic developed, kits, which is something that they often do when they're trying to tap into a new market, like he's passing around. When you're doing a craft kit, whether or not you put together a model car when you were young, or you were doing face painting, or any sort of kit that you imagine buying, or your parents buying when you're a kid, what is it about that you like? So what kind of feedback could Doug get that is what you want out of one of those products?
Well, I have a question too. How many here do crafts? Okay. When you buy something, what do you want in there? Do you want a full kit? Or do you want to have to hunt around for all the parts? You want everything, what we've read through the market, it's that you want complete things. You don't want to have to search. Am I right? Nope? Why not?
Well, this is just like personal, but I'm the type of person that I want to hunt, and like with a kit, it doesn't allow like the full creativity, I guess. And like being in a sorority, we do a lot of like big crafts together. And I know like in December we had like a mini sisterhood, and we all sat around and knitted hand scarves and like hand knitting. And like that was fun because we each got to like hunt and do our own like find our own yarn. And then now I'm looking around and there's like kits of yarn for specific hand knitting, and I'm the type of person where I want to hunt and find the little pieces to allow myself that creativity.
I really like Pinterest, so I like getting ideas on Pinterest, and then if there's a kit available, that makes it a lot easier. There's a website called Darby Smart that like sends you DIY kits, which I really like because I can pretend I'm creative, and then create really cool things and say it was my own idea. So I do like kits, and I think that they really help me, especially when I'm busy, because then everything's there and ready and good to go.
And that's why we do build kits, because we find that people are busy and they can't shop. But you are about maybe 10% of the market, which I'm that part of the market too, because there's no end to it. When I was in computers, my thing was if you can think it, you can do it. And so that's the way I look at it. I came out with a metallic that's a 3-ply and a 6-ply metallic, so that you can go in and take the wool or the cashmere or the alpaca and put a metallic through it, and it's different from everybody else's. And that's all in customization.
Yes. Oh, great. So I'm going to have one more person talk, but we would love for you to continue the feedback on the feedback cards that are on each of your spots that you can write on the back. If you have more ideas, you want to speak up, then to share that would be great.
Yeah, I was just going to comment that a lot of people our age don't necessarily want something new and cutting edge, because our whole lives we've been getting a glut of new stuff all the time and haven't had time to process it or digest it. And so that's, I think, what spurred on this whole regeneration of hipster culture and, you know, wearing grandpa's clothes and things like tweed jackets and stuff like that. So you might want to go back to what was popular 50, 60 years ago,
Right.
and I'm sure you're already looking at that stuff.
Well, which is really funny because we just came back from a trade show, and 75% of the designs were antique samplers.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you, Douglas. Give him a round of applause. All right. Without further ado, we are going to go on to our next aspiring entrepreneurs. We have Alina Kilbasa and Tyler Baltzel. Alina Kilbasa is a senior here, double majoring in international leadership studies and political science, and also pursuing a certificate in teaching English as a foreign language, an overachiever over here. After graduation, Alina is interested in working in Columbus for a while before she moves out to California to continue her education at UC San Diego for a master's degree in Pacific International Affairs. Tyler is a senior at Marietta College as well, majoring in advertising and public relations with a graphic design minor. He's highly involved in the American Advertising Federation, as well as Delta Tau Delta fraternity. After college, Tyler would love to move out to Spokane, Washington, so if you have any connections out there to work at an advertising agency, talk to him. So without further ado, welcome Tyler and Alina.
Thank you. Hold on a second.
Okay, so as Dr. Alway Rosenstock mentioned, my name is Alina Kilbasa, and I'm a senior here at Marietta College. I got introduced to being an entrepreneur through her design appreciation class.
I'm Tyler Baltzel. I'm also a senior. We're both graduating. Like she said, we originally did this as a project in a gen ed class. We had to come up with an idea, and we really like ours, and we would like you to pull out
your electronics.
We decided when we were troubleshooting what could we do. We decided that we were about to graduate, and having never lived off campus, always living in the Delt House or Fairweather or Harrison, these lovely dorms that we have here, we realized we don't know anything about utilities. My buddy who lives in an apartment, he started telling me how his rent's like $200, and then they used a whole bunch of electricity because they were using all these heating elements and stuff throughout the winter, and they didn't know what that was going to do, and they ended up getting charged $150 for electricity. And we started thinking, well, shoot, none of us know what we're going to do when we graduate, and we get that first bill. So that's how we came up with the Pool Out educational electricity program. After interviewing a lot of different students, we realized that there was an overuse of electricity. Talking to a lot of students, I know myself in our fraternity house, we're pretty bad. We have a big TV in the main room that actually just burned out its bulb because I don't think it had been turned off since my sophomore year here. And I talked to a lot of other people, and that seemed to be the norm, leaving lights on, leaving electronics plugged in, just everything. Everyone thought, well, hey, I pay $40,000 to go here. It's not my electrical bill. Why do I care how much we use? And obviously, that's not how we want to make our students go out into this world, and that's not how we want to teach our students to act. But that's the current state of the situation. And graduates, they just also lack that information, like I just talked about. We're about to graduate, I'm about to go get a real apartment. I have no idea how to budget for that first month because I don't know what I'm going to be looking at utilities. There's websites you can go on online that try and estimate these things, but until you have that real world use, you don't really understand what it's going to be like. You don't know leaving my TV on 24/7 or, drying my hair for an hour and a half in the morning. I don't know how that's going to affect my electrical bill. Also, just in general, there's a trend right now of society is moving towards more sustainable lifestyles. Everyone's trying to be green. And as a liberal arts school, we should be at the forefront. We should be the people leading the way. And right now, we're graduating, and we're not preparing students to live a sustainable life. And I know as a liberal arts, like Dr. Bruno mentioned at the very beginning, we like to be full-rounded, and we know that this is a great education for our career, and we believe this is something that could really help students further themselves once they get out in the real world.
Okay, so what I'm going to talk about is a little bit more about how this impacts the college. So when Tyler and I were researching for this, we found that it costs, on average, per student enrolled in a four-year university, about $745 a year for electricity costs. From that, with Marietta College enrollment, that equals approximately $968,000 a year. Additionally, in 2011, Dr. Lynn Kiesling was brought to an economic roundtable and discussed that the current technology that is used in the electrical meters is about from the 1900s. So it's about time for an update. Additionally, it's a really unique way for the college to be able to interact with students. Aside from the incredibly catchy name, it's great to turn something sustainable. So we have a lot of other options, but really this is an interesting way for the college to have a direct impact on students. So the way we want to solve this is through the pull-out program. Essentially, it's a competition between students within one residence hall, and we want it to decrease electricity usage and increase awareness about electricity usage. Additionally, we really want to be able to monitor it with real-time data. As far as we know, there aren't that many electrical meters within the buildings, and there definitely isn't one per each room in a residence hall. And by installing these and having the access to apps and websites that will display the data in a competitive format, will be much more likely to decrease electricity usage.
Now I'll go ahead and talk about the actual incentive for pulling out. So we want students to be able to decrease the usage, and so the first semester when you come in the fall, everyone in their residence hall you'll get assigned. You'll just log in with your email and password, your Marietta email and password, like you do to go on My Marietta, and it'd just be another part of My Marietta. You would go and you could actually see your different data, how much electricity you've been using, and kind of an easy to read graphs, pie charts, bar charts, those kinds of things, so that students can quickly notice. Now, what they're going to do is the first semester, it's just going to be whoever in Harrison, whatever room uses the least amount of electricity, just to generally promote people to use less electricity. Then they will get 10% of whatever money that is saved for that hall. So in Harrison, in McCoy, in these different things. And we realize that it probably won't amount to being a lot of money, but that's not the point. Just students realizing they can save money will help to create the competitive atmosphere that we want. It's not supposed to be a fierce, cutthroat competition or anything like that. And then this will also help teach students the knowledge, which students want to know. They want to learn. Students want to know how much electricity they're using. They want to be more prepared. They want to feel like they're confident when they're getting that first apartment. They want to have as much back knowledge as they can. So we believe through that and the extra money you're getting back and saving, this will create social pressures in order to lower the overall electricity use of Marietta.
So now we really wanted to get into what you can do for us. Since this initially started out just as an idea that we thought Dr. Rosenstock would shoot down, we're really hoping for some feedback. So we really need students who want to become involved with this within the next year. Tyler and I are both graduating, and so I have a sign-up sheet if anyone's interested in getting more information on the project, because I'm really hoping that it will continue.
And then along with that, we don't just want this to be one competition going on throughout the year. Because while that will help, that's not enough. We believe that people in the community, I know there's plenty of different people out there who have a lot of information on utilities. We would like to be able to create actual flyers, handouts, stuff like that to be handed out at the beginning of the year that go in your mailbox to just raise general awareness levels of utilities and how they work. We also would like to try and invite people from the community, to come down and do this kind of thing, but to students and explaining to them utilities and electricity and greener and sustainable lifestyles and everything like that, because we believe students are interested, and we believe with those tools and with people coming in and getting the buzz going on campus, we can really create a more sustainable college here and really decrease the amount of money, but more importantly, decrease the amount of electricity used for Marietta College, which obviously, as we're trying to be more sustainable, that is a huge thing. So now, the Pull Out Educational Electricity Program, we would like to open up the floor to questions. I believe we start with certain people. I don't know how this works. All right. We'll pull out together.
First of all, I'm Fred Smith, the Director of Physical Plant, and Paul Miller is the Associate Director, so we're both very pleased to be here and be involved as discussants, I think is what our title is.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Well, first of all, thank you for your interest in electricity. It's, as we've been able to invest in buildings on campus, we've been pretty good, I think, at trying to find the best energy efficient envelopes for our buildings. And you're correct. Now the area we need to focus on is the plug loads in the residence halls. And the little bit of research we have done shows that about 40% of the electrical use we have can be related to the plug loads. So you're focused on an area that we have not really been able to make an influence on. Your timing is very good. We actually, again, through Beth McNally, have been successful in getting us a grant that will allow us to take meters from the 1900 technology up to current technology. In fact, Paul's been very successful in having these meters installed in Harrison Hall, McCoy Athletics, or McCoy Residence Hall, and at the Herman Fine Arts. So we actually do have real-time data that we have access to on our cell phones and on our computers. The challenge we've had is finding competitive software so we can make it visible to students, because you've hit the nail on the head. And if that's an area you could help us address, if you've done some research in that area, we'd be very interested.
Yeah, we have. For our presentation, we had to come up with some type of solution. So what we found, it's still in its beta phases, so we're unsure of the costs, but it's Lucid Building OS, and they have a bunch of different apps that will allow the data to be displayed differently. So one of the ones that we pulled up in the top right would be a dashboard that could be shown in the main